We're spending a lot of time watching Netflix or any of the other online streaming services. In fact, the average subscriber watches 3.2 hours a day. Now, if you were to expand the maths, for 60 years of your precious lifetime, you would spend 8 years. 8 years of just watching Netflix. Now, of course, Netflix can be great for entertainment or relaxation. But this summer I asked myself, is that really how I want to spend my time, my summer, my life? I mean, do you know how many amazing things you could create in that time? Still, here we are, always claiming we don't have enough time. Oftentimes I don't even want to watch something, but nevertheless, I find myself grabbing my device and throwing on some movie or show out of a deeply rooted habit. And so I had this crazy idea that after my last exams at university, what if I could do an experiment where I would go without Netflix or any other online streaming services for the entire summer and spend my time more creatively instead? I was very curious to see what would happen, because I've had Netflix since like 15 and I'm now 20, and never in those 5 years did I stop to ask myself why I'm doing it or what I'm doing. I always look up to my parents and grandparents. I've wondered, what did they do before Netflix was a thing, before even phones were a thing? And so I've been wondering for a while now, what would I do with that new time? I have learned things that I really didn't expect. I had a long list of fun things I could do, see here. And I had expectations of how things would go, what I would do, how I would feel. But it didn't go as expected. And that is good. The rules for this experiment were pretty simple. I would delete Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime from all of my devices and not watch a single movie or show until my university would start again, which is 3 months or roughly 100 days later. The only exceptions I would allow myself to do is if I would go to the cinema or if there was some movie that I really wanted to watch. I know these rules sound kind of vague, but they worked for me because I really wanted to try this. And the only exceptions I did make in this time were these. It's not a lot, and no shows at all. So there were 4 phases in this experiment that kind of developed themselves. The first one was withdrawal, and this was where I learned the first big lesson. When I'm telling you I want to watch something now, believe me, I really do. This phase was surprisingly short. For about 3 days, I would constantly want to watch something. All of a sudden, I didn't have any more exams to write and no more Netflix. I was lost. What should I do with my time? Because before that, I had developed the unhealthy habit of studying all day, and then on my way back home, all the way through eating and getting ready for bed, I would watch Netflix. So I didn't allow myself to have even a minute of downtime where I did nothing. So yeah, this was a big change for me. It is so important to allow yourself to have some downtime, to not do anything, to not consume any music, podcast, YouTube video, Netflix show, nothing. Just stare into the air and think. Let your thoughts roll. It is so important. And honestly, in this time I was kind of creeped out by my own thoughts, because I so wasn't used to having a minute to think anymore. It sounds so weird and I can't really explain it. I didn't know I had so many thoughts inside of me. Phase 2, hustle mode. In the second phase, I replaced Netflix with watching productive YouTube videos. I justified my need for the consumption of something with watching resourceful, productive videos. I was in hustle mode. Everywhere I looked was a business idea, and I wanted to find something to do, something to occupy me, some side hustle. I don't know what to do. I need to do something. So I watched YouTube videos, which is consumption once again. But it was great. Even my dreams were full of ideas, and I started to think more creatively and open-minded again, which I'm sure was also because my exam season was over. Which already leads us to phase 3, open eyes. I began to see the world with open eyes again, as I like to call it, which is where you see what's happening around you. You start being grateful for the little things again. You know how when in stressful times you kind of develop a tunnel vision? Like I was simply focused on getting good grades in my exam. And now for the first time in 2 months, I was able to let that go. I was able to be free and creative, and I felt so good, grateful and happy. I started reading again, listening to growth podcasts and taking long walks. Quitting Netflix forced me to be alone with my thoughts. And as weird as it might have been in the beginning, as wonderful it is once you get used to it. You learn to again listen to your intuition and your body, and to differentiate between what others tell you and what's really yours. What are your dreams and goals? And once you stop all of the consumption, once you blend out everything, you start getting a feel of yourself again, of yourself and who you really are. I had a lot of interesting thoughts in that time, and I started to do and view things differently. I challenged my mindset, my patterns, and my beliefs. And it was scary at times, but coming out of it now, I can say that I am much more connected to myself. Phase 4, new normal. At this point, after say 1.5 weeks, there was nothing strange about this experiment to me anymore. I simply started spending my time differently. I visited relatives, enjoyed the summer, went on vacation, but neither did I still have the urge to watch Netflix or YouTube. And this phase made up the rest of the experiment. For the other 10.5 weeks, this was the new normal to me. Nothing changed anymore. I was already used to the new habit of not watching Netflix. And it's really this simple. You can change this and many other habits in just 1.5 weeks. It's crazy. You can change every single thing you do is a habit, and you can change every single habit. I highly recommend the book The Power of Habit, which I talked a bit about in my last video. So yeah, pretty soon I decided to delete Netflix altogether. Because if there is one thing that I have learned from all of my detox experiments, it's that once you allow yourself to, say, re-download Instagram, you get sucked right back in. There is no less. This experiment made me realize that I was addicted to Netflix, and I am never proud to say that I am addicted to anything. I was addicted to constant entertainment. I was addicted to maybe escaping my own world. I was addicted to not even allowing myself to have my own thoughts and filling up every minute. And yeah, there is no way I want to return to that anytime soon. It doesn't take long for you to get used to a new normal. It also doesn't take long for you to change your habits. And I strongly want to encourage every single one of you to challenge your bad habits. The first step, I always say, is recognizing. If you recognize that you say fuck too much, you're halfway there. If you recognize that you waste your time on Netflix, you're halfway there. So whether it is Netflix, smoking, binge eating, not working out, you can change every single one of those habits, believe me. So yeah, I thank you all for watching. I hope you appreciated it, and I would love it for you to let me know in the comments if you have ever tried something like this before. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe. See you in a future video of mine coming soon. Bye bye. Oh, Eichhörnchen. Hey, psh. Oh, Tembi. Okay, wait, I gotta wait. So now there's this plane too. Sit. Yeah. Sit. Nevertheless, I find myself